Hi, it's Shot, and in this video I'm going to talk about a new feature we built into the FX panel, workflows. I explained the functions based on a couple different examples, and I'm sure you're going to love this. In the favorites category, I already added some of my favorite looks, and when I hit the create button, the look will be applied to my image. If I select another preset, press create, the new look will be applied. And if I take a look inside the preset options, you'll see that the create button is set to replace. So every time I apply a new preset, the old one will be overwritten. So what if I want to combine multiple looks? I'd have to go back inside the preset options, set the create button to create, and now if I apply another preset, it will be added on top, and I have combined two looks. Let's say I have a combination of looks I use all the time. One way would be to apply those looks one after another, just like I did now. But of course, there's a better solution, our new feature, workflows. Let me show you. Open the quick menu and select workflow. So basically a new preset has been created. For now it's named workflow 1. You can see it up here. And within these preset options, I can now combine multiple existing presets. Let's just delete those looks here. And now I want to add the blueberry pie look. Click on the add to workflow. It's been added here to the order. And I also want to add my Jupiter look. Just look for it, add to workflow. We can close this for now. And now you see the order, blueberry pie being the first look to be applied, followed by Jupiter. If I hit create, both looks were created in just that order. Blueberry pie first, Jupiter second. I can change the order anytime by just simply dragging Jupiter above blueberry pie. And let me just delete those here and reapply it. And now the order is different. Jupiter first, blueberry pie second. Well, that's a pretty neat start to combine presets. But of course, our workflow feature has a lot more to offer. Let's take another look at the available presets. Just going to delete this here. Some of you may notice italicized presets. Those are presets you won't find in your list or image view since they are only available for workflows. That's why we call them workflow presets, and you can display them by choosing the workflow presets category right here. And here they are. So let's delete those looks again. So the issue with combined looks is they can easily appear overdone. The reason for that is that you use them with 100% opacity. What I want to do now is I want to change the opacity of blueberry pie. So within the workflow presets, let's select the change layer properties preset, add it to the workflow right after blueberry pie. And if I click into that preset, more options become visible, like change name and color, blend mode, but I want to change the opacity to, let's say, 50%. And if I apply this preset, now we'll see that the opacity for blueberry pie has been changed to 50%, while Jupiter is still on 100%. I want to change Jupiter as well, so I add another change layer properties preset, and I drag it right above blueberry pie. So the order would be Jupiter first, change layer opacity, change layer properties second. This here I want to set to maybe 75%, then blueberry pie, and the opacity to 50%. Again, let's delete this and reapply it. And now we have 50% for Blueberry Pie, 75% for Jupiter, and the look is much more harmonious. To round up this workflow, I want to group these two looks, and for that we find the create a new group preset. Let's just add it, and I can add a name, let's say Dom's look. I can change the color to maybe red. And to ensure those looks are within that group, I have to put this group on top. Let's take a look. Here's my group, and within that group we have the Blueberry Pie with 50% opacity and Jupiter with 75%. And to complete this entirely, I also want to close this group. And for that, let's just delete this. And for that, we also have a workflow preset called Open Close Group. I'm just going to add it right here. And in the settings here, I can select the name or write it, Dom's look. I want it to close. And again, when I now create the look, here's my group, and within that group are both looks. And now I really have my own look in a separate folder. I can change the name of the workflow, of course, so Dom's look. And as usual, I can create my custom images. And for that, I'm going to select the whole image, go to Edit, Copy Merged, and then I hit the Create Custom Images button. I can now paste my image right inside this template, make it slightly smaller, maybe like this. Copy it to the other artboard, which is responsible for the preview image in the list view, maybe like that. And all I need to do is now hit the Save Images button, and as you can see, it has been applied to my preset, and I can close the template file. Well, and my preset is now set up. I can find it in the workflow category in my quick finder. And now I can just select any other image and apply this look to all my images, just like all the other looks I have inside the FX panel. Another example of use away from looks would be a combination of multiple time savers. For that, let me open our copyright and watermark bundle and switch to list view, delete my previous look. And now I want to combine multiple watermark presets. For instance, the disturber. Let's just hit play. As you can see, let's open the preset options here. As you can see, I already added a logo, set the color to white, set the factor to, let's see, to 2, and the opacity to 20. So that's fine. And I can now save all these settings here as a custom preset. So let's just hit the plus button, say FX panel disturber. And let's go back and see what else we can do. Maybe a watermark text. Open the preset options. I already entered preview only, do not use, preview only. So if I apply this one, you see that we have this text going through the whole image here on the side, telling everyone that this is a preview picture only. And of course, I want to save this as a custom preset as well. So let's hit this button, type in preview only. And maybe as a third watermark, I want to add a logo. So I already included my Dom Quixote logo here. Let's just see where the origin is. It's set to center, so I wanted to put it up here. Hit create, maybe slightly bigger to about 8%. That's nice. And let's create a custom preset for this as well. There we go. Although it's pretty easy to use custom presets right from the list view, I want to create a preset that does all those 3 watermarks at once. So once again, go to the quick menu, select the workflow preset, select copyright and watermark down here. And first I want to start with the disturber. And as you can see down here, there's a drop down menu where I can select a custom preset, or I can use current settings. In this case, I want to use the FX Panel Disturber preset. Press OK. Select watermark logo, the DQ logo preset, and watermark text. Well, and now actually I forgot to select the custom preset, so I just click on this preset right here and select preview only here. Give that a nice name. Watermark, as usual, I could create my custom image, and if I hit now the create button, it will do all the watermark. Let's just zoom out. It will do all the watermark stuff for me. I could also add this into a group, rename that, but that's another example of use for the workflow. Let's take a closer look at the workflow presets, and for that I'm going to create a new workflow and select the workflow preset category. And let's start with the change layer hierarchy. So when I add this here, you see that we can add a reference and we can change set a position. So let's say I have 2 layers, layer 1 and layer 2, and I want to rearrange layer 1 so it's above layer 2. I would say the reference is layer 2, and I want to do it before layer 2. So let's create that, and now the layer has been moved. Next would be change layer properties. We already showed that, how we can change the opacity or the blending mode. We have a close document preset where you can actually just close a document, and we have some options like ask to save or do not save changes at all. We have a create adjustment layer, which is quite interesting. So in this case, we have a drop-down menu where you find all the adjustment layers Photoshop offers, like brightness, exposure, vibrance, hue, saturation, and we can even define a layer if it has a layer mask or not, and we can also define a name for it and a layer color. If we leave this blank, it will just create the original name. So let's say you're just retouching or color correcting and you have a specific way of working with adjustment layers. You can create your own adjustment layer setup here and put them into a folder, and now you just double click on that adjustment layer and can start working on those colors. Let's delete this and also this. We also have a create new group and a create new layer option, which is basically self-explaining. We can create a solid color. So let's just say I need to have a color. It can either be a predefined or a dialog. So if I leave dialog and create it, the color checker dialog will open and ask me which color I want, and then I can fill it. We have a open close group, already discussed that. We have a select layer preset, which basically just selects a layer by name or the background or the top layer. We have a select a tool preset where you can actually select the tool from the drop down here, let's say the dodge tool, and we also have all the tool presets in here. We have a transform preset, which allows you to offset specific layers, rotate them, or change the size. And one I have missed is the recreate layer, which is a very powerful preset I'm going to explain now. And for that, let's just delete this here and add another curves layer. And let's just say I want to increase the contrast a little bit here. I want to add a little bit more red to the shadows. I want to add a little bit blue to the shadows and a little bit of yellows to the highlights, and also a little bit magenta to the highlights. I just play around and create a little bit of a color correction with my curves. And what the recreate layer does is let's just open this here. It fetches all the data from this actual adjustment layer. So when I hit the fetch data button, it recognizes it as a curve. It checks the opacity and fill, the blending mode, also the mask if it's white or if it's black or if it has any. And let's just deactivate this. If I now apply this preset, it will recreate this exact curve. So now I'm able, with the recreate layer preset, to create my very own looks based on adjustment layers. Same with a fill color. Let's just say I have a fill color, maybe something in this bluish area here, change the blending mode to exclusion, change the opacity, and if I hit the recreate layer again, fetch data, it'll recognize the color, the opacity, blending mode. Let's just deactivate this and apply it. It will now create my curves and my fill layer. So that's a pretty easy but very powerful way to create your very own looks right in the FX panel. Some of you may or may not be familiar with the blog on our website, and we recently just had an article where we explained how you can use the export preset for social media. It comes with the Essentials bundle, and we also included some custom presets you can download for free as long as you're logged in. And once you've done that, let's just switch to Essentials here. And once you've done that, you see that we have custom presets for the both export and the sharpening presets. They're here. And what the export custom presets basically do, they have settings for, let's just select Facebook here. They have a specific sharpening for Facebook images. They have a specific destination. They have, of course, the right proper image size and the file format. So it's all saved here. I can now export my image as for Instagram, for Facebook, as a PSD, and as a high-res print file. But of course, I would have to select every custom preset separately and then hit the Create button. And there's where the workflow function also comes in handy. So let's just name this Export, select the Essentials bundle here, and add the export 4 times. And now I simply just have to select the proper custom preset for every export preset here. And now to hit the Create button, and it will automatically export my images in all the file formats I actually need. And of course, those of you who use our retouching bundle, Workflow is also very useful to create your own retouching workflow. So let's just say I have another workflow, retouching, and let's switch to our retouching category. I can now set up my image so I can start retouching immediately. For instance, I want to create a new layer, and we have this retouching layer with a healing brush. Let's add that to the workflow. See what happens. Perfect. I also want to add dodge and burn layers, or maybe a curve. That's easier. A new curve, and add this here. Let's just delete this and hit OK. So we have the retouching, we have the dodge and burn layers, and I also want to add, let's say, check layers, all check layers, add to workflow. Once again, press create, and there it is. What I also want to do is I want to close the dodge and burn group and the retouching group. So let's just say let's switch to workflow presets and say open close group twice. Once for the new layer and once for the dodge and burn curves. And I also want to close my workflow with a new layer specifically designed to add nodes, maybe in red. Let's set that up. Delete this. Let's see. There it is. So now I can start marking up things on my image, what I want to change. And after I've done that, I can instantly start retouching since all the layers I need are in here. I could create my own adjustment layers for color corrections and stuff like that. So all you need to do is set up once a workflow for your retouching, and it will save you a lot of time and make you work more efficiently. I hope you like the new workflow feature as much as I do. We can't wait to see what you guys make out of it, how you're going to use the workflow feature. So keep us updated. Tell us if you need any more workflow presets. And yeah, have fun.